Welcome, friends. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Julie Morris. I'm the pastor here at Mount Cross Lutheran Church, and we are so happy to welcome you into our sanctuary that does not have air conditioning, but we can handle that, right? There's a little bit of a breeze, yeah. And we're kind of close together for the sake of video and audio, so hopefully everyone will be able to hear well. I am so grateful to CLU, Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice, for inviting 3 Camarillo congregations to host these 2 immigration forums. So thank you to Betty Stapleford and Nan Waltman and Tim Helton, who are on the board of CLU. Thank you. We needed somebody to organize us, and you did. So thank you very much. And thank you to my colleagues from our sister churches in the 3 congregations partnership, to Pastor Albert Kim from Camarillo United Methodist, and Father Michael Anderson from St. Columba's Episcopal. So glad you're here. Yes, yeah. And everybody's welcome. I look forward to hearing about what other faith communities and nonprofit community organizations are represented here. There is much to do and to talk about. But first, we will say a prayer. And this prayer is a prayer that we can pray along with our farm worker neighbors. It is the prayer of the farm workers' struggle that was written by Cesar Chavez. So let us join with our friends who labor on our behalf. Show me the suffering of the most miserable, so I will know my people's plight. Free me to pray for others, for you are present in every person. Help me take responsibility for my own life so that I can be free at last. Grant me courage to serve others, for in service there is true life. Give me honesty and patience so that I can work with other workers. Bring forth song and celebration so that the Spirit will be alive among us. Let the Spirit flourish and grow so that we will never tire of the struggle. Let us remember those who have died for justice, for they have given us life. Help us love even those who hate us, so we can change the world. Amen. Amen. We are pleased to have with us leading immigration advocate Vanessa Frank, who spoke to our assembly last week at St. Columba's about our broken immigration system. And she explained why it is so hard to gain legal status. Today, Vanessa and colleagues will lead us through how we can be involved in supporting and defending our community. Vanessa Frank has been advocating for immigration rights since the fight against Proposition 187 in 1994. And for the last 16 years, she has run her own law practice while serving as a consultant to the range of government, nonprofit, and advocacy organizations on the Central Coast. This year, Vanessa founded Mariposa, an advocacy and legal services nonprofit dedicated to training first-generation young adults for legal and advocacy careers while providing top-quality services to our Central Coast families. Among her many volunteer roles in the community, Vanessa is legal director for Swap Meet Justice, which you will hear about shortly. Vanessa will be emceeing our panel today. Vanessa, welcome.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here, although St. Columba's was nice too. And then next week, are we going to the Methodists? Let's go. Just keep the party going. So good afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and for people on camera. Is there a camera? No. Okay. Oh, hi. Okay. Thank you to everybody. Today, I'm not going to speak very much. I'm going to introduce sort of an all-star cast of people in our own community, in our county, throughout the county, who've been working for years or weeks or days or decades for justice for our community. This is a really challenging time. It seems to be getting more and more challenging every day. As an attorney, it just seems sometimes overwhelming. But I wanted to frame this as there's a lot of need, and I've seen over the decades a lot of performance of caring and a lot of performance of participation, and we just don't have time for that. We just don't. There are so many ways to get involved, and I ask that each of you think about what your own skills and talents and time and availability is, and just do something, but actually do something. And whether it's make a donation or volunteer or give an hour a week or 10 hours a week or quit your job and just do this 60 hours a week. I'm not saying what is the right answer for you, but do find something you can actually do. There is no time for people to just perform caring anymore. We need to actually do it. So get creative, get out of your comfort zone, make a new friend, and get involved. Hopefully, a lot of the people here, are friendly. I don't know all of them, but a lot of them are friendly. I'm just kidding. No, they're obviously really, it's a great group of people. You will be very glad to make some of your best friends, I think, from among the people that are presenting here today or the people that they work with regularly. And then my final thought on this is that speaking to this idea of performance, I've been talking to a lot of people who are not necessarily aligned or people who are just not super informed, and they are like, well, if this is so bad, where's the protest? Like, I don't know, like, is it bad? So all the more reason that you need to get out and get vocal. Bring a friend, loop somebody in, really have that good conversation with somebody in your life and open a door to them to then get involved. Because we really need all hands on deck, and we really need people to understand that the stakes are just really, really high at this time, both for individual families, but also for our nation as a whole. So please get involved. So with that, I will introduce our first speaker. I am very proud to introduce Paulina Betancourt. She is a sophomore at Oxnard Middle College High School. She's a 10th grader. And she has been involved in this work since she was a 9th grader, if not before. She's a member of the National Merit Society and the Yearbook Club at her high school. But additionally, she's been working every month at Swap Meet Justice in Oxnard. She started out preparing people's citizenship forms and green card renewals and DACA renewal cards, but that was not enough. It was only once a month. So she has gotten involved in the regular group called Youth Right to Rise, which is helping folks throughout the community to understand their rights and to prepare their families. So without further ado, I will welcome Paulina. Come on up.
All right, thank you so much, Vanessa, and thank you everyone who invited me here to speak today. It's great to see you all, and good afternoon. Okay, there we go, that's better. Okay, so once again, hi everyone, it's good to see you. Good afternoon. I'm really thankful for this opportunity and to be spending here time on this lovely day with you all. Again, my name is Paulina Betancourt, and I have been a member of Swap Meet Justice for over a year now, and I'm also in the group called Youth Right to Rise, which is under the larger organization Mariposa. And in this group, we just educate another on the latest immigration news, and a lot of the information we learn correlates back to Swap Meet Justice, which is why it's so great and empowering. Today, I'm going to give you a more in-depth tour to Swap Meet Justice regarding its history, how you can join the coalition, and the resources we offer to our community. All right. Swap Meet Justice leads California with bringing citizenship, health, and social resources to its community members at no cost. We want to emphasize this feature because Swap Meet Justice is truly there to help mentor its community members or simply answer any questions that they have. Uh-oh, a little too quick here. Let's slow that down. Okay, that's better. An overview of the service and this event is that Swami Justice occurs on the last Sunday of each month, and it is held at the Oxnard College, specifically in front of the gymnasium. At this event, we have 30 partnered organizations with trained professionals who are happy to help you regarding any questions you have or mentoring, as I mentioned earlier. This little village provides a comfortable space where people can make connections, talk among each other, and learn about the resources in Ventura County and Oxnard. Once again, this is at no cost. Now, as for the more legal side of Swami Justice, we have lots of resources such as DACA renewals, green card renewals, the citizenship applications, also referred to as N400, and fee waivers. These are typically done by immigration attorneys such as Vanessa Frank, and we typically have around 3 on hand, but we also have college students and high school students such as myself who have been trained to fill these out. There is a meeting at 8:30 in the morning where we learn these hands-on skills, and there's also one online. And a great aspect is that we always have binders on hand if we ever want to go back, refer to that information, and really retain it for future consultations. And then for legal consultations with agencies, we also have private attorneys that will help you with identity theft, family law, taxes, and more. And another great feature that we have here at Swami Justice is an expungement clinic, which is staffed by the Ventura County Public Defenders. So here in this image, you can see our front desk, which says Swami Justice, and you can easily identify us with these bright yellow t-shirts. They're so bright. Okay, and then as for other resources besides the legal side, we have health ones, which are staffed by Westminster, and that is a primarily youth-led group. Here we have blood pressure testing, blood sugar screenings, there's a vision clinic, and seasonal vaccinations. And then there's medical signups and a variety of family support services like financial planning, utility help, and even disability resources. So it's all focusing on diversity and meeting the needs of our folks here in Ventura County and Oxnard. Since Swami Justice prioritizes its community and wants them to feel as invited and comfortable as possible, we have 2 Mixteco interpreters on hand. A lot of our community members and attendees speak Spanish, but we do want to value those who speak Mixteco as well. And therefore, we have 2 Mixteco interpreters that are always happy to help their clients. And the feature that I love about it is that they have this welcoming game. It's a bingo game where you go around to 10 different organizations, you collaborate with them, you come back, and then you can win a prize. And although those prizes are like more for small kids, it just reminds you that although you may be coming to the Swami Justice feeling concerned or anxious, that there's opportunities to have fun, whether it's grabbing a little snack or connecting with people. It's just great to see. As for opportunities, we have hands-on career training for young individuals, college students, and high school students. We fill out citizenship applications such as that N400. I filled that one out about 3 to 4 times with my peers and also independently. It's honestly great being able to do this with my community members. It makes me feel very professional at this young age, and it's just a great resource. If it weren't for these amazing individuals who notified me about Swami Justice, I wouldn't be able to have these skills and know about the greatness of Swami Justice. And then some other tasks that we perform are interpretation and outreach. I have passed out flyers at the swap meet and just connected with individuals. Now, as for the history of Swami Justice, it actually began in 2018 with only a few tents. Here in this image, you can see that there's 3. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, now we have 30. It doubled by 10, which is a lot. But it goes to show how reliable those resources are and how much the people really love it. Now, it started to help green card holders apply for their citizenship. That way they can be fully participated in their civic life. And then in 2022, this expanded. In this image, you can see there are definitely more than 3 tents. And since the people really liked the services they offered, they started spreading the information about Swami Justice by word of mouth, and then it just began growing and growing. And then before you know it, we have this lovely community that we see on the last Sunday of each month. Who does Swami Justice serve? Swami Justice serves around 700 individuals from Ventura County since it's in this location here in Oxnard at the Oxnard College. A lot of our attendees are immigrants, farm workers, or small business owners, and it's great to see them there to know that they're taking advantages of all of these resources. And then Swami Justice serves around 100 volunteers each month who are passionate to help our community and learn more about what's out there. Here we have an image. It's a family asking about utility assistance. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience joining Swami Justice. It has allowed me to make connection, learn hands-on skills, and also be exposed to valuable opportunities. Ever since I joined Swami Justice, I feel that I've been getting closer to people at my school, such as Kelly, Simone, and Melanie here, and also Kel, which attends a school in Ventura. It's great working amongst people who have similar interests as me and who are all so kind. And then for the hands-on skills, I learned how to do the N400 application, also a green card renewal. And then one of the lovely opportunities that I was invited to was this little meeting with Chief Benitez and Mayor MacArthur regarding this immigration incident that occurred. It was a great experience because I was able to ask questions and altogether learn about an incident and how to just grow from it. In summary, Swami Justice is a very reliable event and resource that occurs on the last Sunday of each month over at Oxnard College. It has been recognized by the Latino community, Board of Supervisors, and even some of our state legislators for its leadership. So there is a certificate that it has been presented with, and it is also partners with Cal State Channel Islands and UCSB. Okay, now for you guys, in order to get involved, you can join our coalition by being a volunteer. All language abilities and ages are welcome. The more diversity you have, the better, and we would love to see new faces. You can become a partner by emailing michelle@swamijustice.org, become a sponsor, so you can be recognized as part of our growing Swami Justice community. You can email nan@swamijustice.org for this, or you can simply donate to our website, which is swamijustice.org. Now, I have these flyers. They're in the back table over there, and they state the upcoming dates of the Swami Justice fairs at the top, and then it has an overview of the resources that we offer, both immigration and everything in general, such as this mobile library. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Is the Oxnard College site exempt from ICE rings?
Yes, we have team members who have walkie-talkies that are spread around the campus, and they always notify each other if they see any suspicious vehicles. So usually there's no ICE on campus, and our members try their best to inform another about any suspicious activities. Thank you. Yes?
I just want to bring to people's attention that food share of Ventura County feeds about 5,500 individuals every Wednesday afternoon out at College Park. We have to get there pretty early, get in line. There's some city ordinance or something that we can't stay open past 4 o'clock, which is really hard on foreigners. Because
Thank
they
you.
often, they get there too late and the food's already gone.
Yeah.
But that being said, I just wanted to bring it to the attention of this place for people.
Has that been brought up to Mayor MacArthur or anyone at City Council about that ordinance?
I don't know. I can ask higher ups at the organization I volunteer for them, and I'll check into that. But I don't know what it was, but I just know they have to have it.
Yeah, there's a microphone.
Oh, I'm done.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Sorry.
I'm just curious whether you have considered expanding this to other locations in Ventura County.
Vanessa.
Yeah, I'm one of the co-founders. It's 30 tents. It's a huge thing. When we first started, I just came from an event in another city. The word of mouth, the sense of security takes a long time to build that credibility in the community. And so it seems simple to just like throw a few tents, call a couple lawyers, but then people don't feel comfortable and it takes a lot of time. So yes, and if we get funding, we can do that. But it's mostly volunteer run and we don't have the capacity to expand. So we're looking at, we're open if you have substantial funding. As you saw, it's like about $10,000 a month. So if we can find that in another community, we can be there. If we can't, we can also sustain organizing work to get buses. There are other organizations that do citizenship fairs, and like we'll hear from Buen Vecino. There are other citizenship fairs, but the idea of this general collaboration and outdoor free collaboration among organizations is unique in the state, and it's a labor of love. And I wanted to clarify the answer. Somebody asked earlier if Oxnard College is exempt from ICE. That's not a thing. You can't be exempt from law enforcement. So no, every place is open to law enforcement, including the place that we're sitting in right here. Keep voting. No, for the video. It's because of the video.
Just related to that, I've talked to a couple folks about swap meet justice, and they're worried that going to it would make them a target. And I'm just curious. Okay. I
mean, nobody. I don't think going to swap meet justice makes you a target. It's the swap meet.
Right.
It's Oxnard College swap meet. It's happening right now. It happens every Sunday. We are out there once a month, but the event happens every week.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
people,
Okay.
I mean, the marketplace. It's a marketplace.
Yeah.
Like, go buy a tire, get a gift for your niece's quinceañera, whatever. Like, that happens, and it happens at Ventura College, and there are monitors. We'll hear about that in a minute. So there are people that are helping to monitor, but just going to swap meet justice itself is not putting a target on your back, either as a volunteer nor as a person seeking service. But you are out of your home. Keep voting.
Any other questions or comments?
We're going to have time at the end when we'll have all the speakers at the front to kind of mix it up and mingle. But thank you. Thank you so much. Let's see. Next, I believe, is Matt. Yes? Yes. Next is Matthew Bigelow. Matthew is a volunteer right now with 805 UndocuFund or 805 Immigrant Coalition, and he fills a variety of roles, including rapid response, training, and community patrols. I have to have them all written down because he's done us so much. He's been involved, he was involved the last time Trump was in office, but this year he really found a new gear. He's a former elementary school teacher, and he's in the bilingual program in South Oxnard, and he volunteers also with the Ventura County Community Foundation as a reader and evaluator of the Scholarship Fund. So I want to welcome Matthew up here to talk more about your work with the Rapid Response Network. Come on.
Hi, thank you, Vanessa. Can everybody hear me okay? I'm a little taller, I think. So thank you all for being here and for your interest in uplifting a vulnerable community. As Vanessa said, we need all hands on deck. I'm here to talk about the 805 UndocuFund's Rapid Response Network. And so when I say Rapid Response Network, possibly you have a certain image in your head of what that conveys. I know when I tell people that I am in a rapid response network, I usually get something like, oh, you're those people that show up when ICE is there and you photograph them and you take pictures and you give them, I was going to say H-E-L-L, but I'm in a church. You give them a bad time and you document and you read the rights to the individual being detained. And okay, yes, all of that is true. We do that. That's a core function. Responding to ICE presence is a big part of what we do. We either confirm that ICE is there, send that back to our dispatch so that they can get the word out to people in that area that it's not safe for them to go out, or we quell a rumor and our dispatchers send that out to say, hey, it's okay, that wasn't ICE, it was a brand new black SUV with tinted windows that somebody didn't put a license onto yet. So that is a big part of what we do. I do want to comment that for a lot of people, this is an uncomfortable position to take because you are necessarily putting yourself into an adversarial relationship with armed, sometimes not following the law, agents who are there to enforce some kind of an action. And a lot of people find that to be a level of risk that they can't accept. Now, when I first re-upped with 805 and DocuFund back about 6 or 7 months ago, this was basically what we were doing. We were showing up, we were telling the person being detained their rights, trying to keep the rest of the community safe, documenting, taking pictures, taking videos, so on and so forth. Here's the thing. We did all that. We gathered a lot of data. Yeah, oh, wow, great video, nice job. But at the end of the day, there is a family in crisis now, a family who has had a member detained, maybe the breadwinner, maybe the person caring for the children, maybe the person providing transportation, maybe all of those things. And we realize, my goodness, it's not enough for us to show up and just document what's happening and try to read the rights real quickly to a person being detained. We have to help support this community a lot more through this continuing crisis. So to that end, we've been able to develop a lot of other volunteer roles that have a range of risks, some a little bit higher, but some with absolutely no risk whatsoever to your personal safety, where you will never be encountering law enforcement or ICE agents or armed rogue people trying to snatch people off of the streets. So I'm here to talk to you about some of those opportunities, and I'm hoping that maybe you'll have an interest in them and that you'll want to attend one of our trainings. And I've got some flyers and things I'm going to leave back there where you can get more information and maybe sign up for a training. So let's go to the next slide. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. That's much easier on me. I know that my time is short, so I'm not going to go through all this long information. But basically, 805 and DocuFund is an organization that's part of a larger organization called the 805 Immigrant Coalition that supports the rights, the dignity, the security of the immigrant population and tries to help form resilient communities. We operate in San Luis Obispo County, Ventura County, and Santa Barbara County. Did that a little out of order. So let's go ahead to the next slide. So I want to talk about some of these specific roles that we play and the opportunities for volunteers. The first one we have on the list is community outreach. That's kind of what it sounds like. It's getting the word out. It might be as simple as you going around your neighborhood, your friends, your family, various businesses, letting them know who we are, what we do, giving out the rapid response phone number. It could be at an event where a lot of people are present and you're at a table passing out information. As Vanessa may have mentioned, I do patrols at swap meets with a variety of other volunteers, one of whom is here, in fact. We watch the entrances, we patrol the area, we have a coordinated response. That's our task there. But at the same time, we also have the opportunity to engage with the community, talk to vendors, talk to shoppers, get the word out there, spread the support that we're giving so that people feel a little safer. Community outreach, it's not a no-risk job, but it's a very low risk. The main risk is that you're going to encounter a person who's very much not in favor of what we're doing, and they want to forcefully tell you about it. Most of my interactions have been cordial, but I have had some pushback. That's about the highest risk there. Spanish speaking is not required. Bilingualism, I should say, is not required. It can be helpful, but definitely not a requirement. The next thing we have on here, dispatch hotline operator. This is really the vital link between a community member in need and the resources we're able to provide. There's generally one of two reasons somebody is calling our hotline. First one would be that they think they see ICE activity, and that's when the rapid response comes in that I mentioned to you earlier. The dispatcher must notify the group that's most geographically proximate to where the event is going on so that they can show up and document and report back what's happening. The other reason somebody might call the hotline is because they have had a family member detained and they need legal help, maybe they need rent assistance, they need a direction. They're in crisis and they need to know how to link up with resources. The dispatcher is there to make sure that that is provided. Now, this position is utterly safe. You're doing it with your phone, in your home, at the park, at a friend's house, at your job even. And nobody knows who you are. Your phone number's masked, so it's a very safe position. Now, bilingualism, Spanish and English, is required. That's the language that most of the calls come in. However, if you're trilingual, with that third language being Mixteco, I'm just going to stop talking right now and sign you up, because we really need that. The next thing we have here is mutual aid. To me, this mutual aid, it's very beautiful. It really came right from the ground up, volunteer-driven. You may have a situation where a volunteer is involved in some other organization that has a service or a resource that's needed by the communities we serve, but maybe that organization doesn't have the people power, or doesn't have a place to get this done. And so that volunteer is able to connect the one organization with our network of volunteers to deliver that good or service. There was one that happened maybe a month and a half or 2 months ago where an organization one of our volunteers worked with had a bunch of school supplies, a lot of backpacks and pencils and crayons and things like that for needy students, but they had a large inventory and weren't sure how to get it out to people. That volunteer plugged into our network, set something up over a weekend where families could come and get those supplies, and they gave out dozens and dozens of backpacks. It was very beautiful. Other people work with things like Food Share, Friends of Farm Workers, and they're able to coordinate food delivery. So working in a mutual aid event, these things come up from time to time. It's not really on a schedule, or maybe you have contacts with some organizations that you can plug into our network and get a good or a service that's much needed out there. This does not require you to be bilingual, no whatsoever, and there's really no risk to it. You're just there providing a good or service. I will say this, it's very rewarding as well. I already kind of talked about responding to ICE activity. So that's the classic, kind of the rapid response when you show up and you document what is happening and try to minimize the damage being done, or you simply report back to the network or to the dispatcher, hey, nothing doing here, and they can send the word out to the community that it's calm and they may come out into public and feel safe. Can you go back, please? So I think that might have been me that did that. Okay, legal observer. A legal observer is a very specific term. We partner with the National Lawyers Guild, and it's a training you receive and a certification to be able to act as a legal observer, which is somebody who is present at large gatherings where there is likely to be law enforcement. Basically, the job of the legal observer is to document the actions and interactions from the law enforcement towards the participants. So it's very important for that person to remain neutral. You're not there chanting and shouting and carrying a sign and marching, because your notes need to be unbiased, because they may be needed in the case of some kind of a legal action due to an activity engaged in by law enforcement. So we do provide extra training for this. I will say this is one of the higher risk activities, the main reason being that, boy, if you're going to these kind of events and protests where there's police and there's demonstrators, you're in a high-tension situation already where tempers can flare, so you may find yourself in the middle of something that is that could be harmful. No bilingualism, however, is required, and we provide the additional training. Accompaniment is basically going with somebody to somewhere they need to go. It may be you providing a ride to somebody who doesn't have a ride. Maybe the person that did transportation in their household has been detained or deported, and so they need a ride to their doctor's appointment. It could be somebody who has an ICE check-in or a court hearing, and they just need somebody for that psychological and emotional comfort of not showing up alone. Really, all that's required here, bilingualism is not required. It can be helpful, just, I don't know, I don't like uncomfortable silences, so I'd be blabbing away in whatever language I speak to the person, whether they understood me or not. Maybe make a little conversation. It's not really required in any way, though. All you need is a driver's license, insurance, and a vehicle. Is there something on? No, that's okay. I think it's just something. Yeah. And so I have a colleague with me here as well that in just a moment is going to come up and talk about another area of assistance that we have been really leaning into strongly, especially great community leaders like the one that's going to come up here momentarily. Another way for you to get involved that I don't have as much experience with, so I'm going to have her speak to you. But before that, I want to go to just a couple other, one more. Let's go another, one more. This is just some information that we have to help out affected families. This is our rapid response phone number. Say if nothing I've said to you sounds like anything you want to do, that's okay. This is a number you can pass out to vulnerable people for people to know that's a number they can call to get a response. This is a place where they can go and try to get information about their loved one if that person's been detained. And then we have our website, 85docufund.org. Like I say, if nothing of this appeals to you, you may feel free to give us a donation to our operating fund, or even we have the emergency assistance fund, which goes directly to families that have been affected by ICE raids and ICE activity. So that's a great way to contribute as well. I hope to see you out there, though, and I'm going to have Beverly come on up and speak momentarily to give you information about another area where you can get involved with us. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, so as you see, there's so many different ways to get involved. So Beverly came, she's pinch hitting for somebody else who is pinch hitting. So thank you so much for stepping in. Bev is a first-generation immigrant, having grown up in a Central Valley town. And is this the slide? Is this your slide? Oh. But that's okay. This is a good one. That's a good one. No, go back to the other one, the blue one. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's the number. And we have little flyers. This is the number that Matthew was just talking about. Bev came to Camarillo and totally fell in love with the city. I mean, who could blame her? She's the mom to Pasita and Teddy, who are rescue pups, and a guinea pig named Moo Moo. And she gets a lot of support from her husband, Corey. Bev is a graduate of political science from Berkeley. And I'm just going to scroll and get to that. She's currently working for the Cultural Affairs Department in Thousand Oaks. And she was elected to the Valley Recreation and Parks. She's on the Pleasant Valley Rec and Parks Board of Directors as a recreation specialist. So I'm very proud to introduce Bev to talk a little bit about work being done here in Camarillo City itself. Thanks, Bev. Woo.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us today. So kind of going off of what Matthew was saying, so just to clarify, I'm currently an elected official for Pleasant Valley Rec and Park District. I serve on the board, and I'm serving as chair this year. I say that I'm speaking in my unofficial capacity, but just so that you have a point of reference of kind of my involvement and some of my expertise. I am a stay-at-home mother at this time. I'm fortunate enough to be able to be with them, and as a result, able to dedicate a lot of time to this cause. So I got involved about, back in June, late June, over at the United Methodist. There was a training there that was offered, and I can tell you that changed everything for the city of Camarillo. Our pod came from there. So I stepped up and said, I'll put it together. We'll do something because it is so needed. And the reason why it is so needed in Camarillo is we are at the central point of all ICE activity. So at 321 Cortez Circle, that is where they take and process detainees. Everything evolves out of there, all across Ventura County. I think it's even gone to Santa Barbara. So we have a patroller there. They take and record instead of us chasing ICE out in the wild, we're like, hey, let's start where they start from and figure out where are they going. So it has helped deter and curb some of this activity because they know they're being watched. I was at the July 10th at the ICE raid there. And I literally went just to hand out red cards because I heard people were being taken. The night before, on July 9th, there were over 60 speakers at Camarillo City Council. And we were all saying, hey, we feel unsafe. Let's do something. This is happening. And then the very next day, people were tear gassed. So it is important for people to keep showing up to Camarillo City Council, to come during public comment, even if it's not on the agenda, because that persistence is what's going to get us to change. Camarillo City Council has not done anything. And it is an absolute disgrace because you have other cities doing things. Even Simi Valley is doing something. That's how bad it is. Moore Park did something immediately. They hosted a Know Your Rights, and this is something we have been asking for. Over at the city of Oxnard, Mayor MacArthur hosts a roundtable to at least have these conversations with key stakeholders. You have Ventura and Ojai who passed the CARES Act. You have Thousand Oaks who gave $100,000 to the Neighbors Fund. So all of these things are very tangible things that our Camarillo City Council can do as well. They released a video that is already outdated that also included the sheriff. Now the sheriff says activists are the ones sowing the discord. No, they are not. They're the ones doing the law enforcement's job of keeping our communities safe. So that is where we need you to come in and help patrol. So instead of responding to ICE, for example, Somas Ranch Apartments, They are a completely vulnerable community. Those are all field workers. And there's only one way in and one way out. ICE comes, they are absolutely in danger. So what we've been doing is, that is another location. So between Cortez and Somas Road Ranch Apartment, those are kind of our key focuses. So we're trying to get folks there as early as 4 in the morning because that's when people start to go out, and up until 6 p.m. to capture people who are also coming in back from work. They have already been attempted twice from ICE raids. Unfortunately, we had, 3 times now? Oh my goodness, I hadn't heard about the third one. So because we have had folks there, we've been able to drive them out. So it makes a difference. Being there, documenting, and I will tell you, being on July 10th, I was there to give out the red cards and whatnot, and I saw the line of whatever ICE agents were there, and I was like, people are not going to believe what is happening. So I recorded. I went live on Facebook so that there was absolutely no doubt that what was happening was real, unedited, and everything. I was terrified. I was crying. And there's some people who will get in people's face. I'm like, that is not me. I was like, I wanted to be the neutral bystander, to be like, this is what's happening. And even so, I had a weapon raised at me twice sitting in my car. I have the footage. I have all of it. And even so, you had so many elected leaders there that were able to speak to it. And so it has really caused them to step up. So a lot of those leaders were from those cities that are mentioned. We did not have anyone from Camarillo City Council there, even though it happened in Camarillo. And their argument, one particular member's argument is it was unincorporated. That is not what the news is saying. That is not internationally known. Oh, unincorporated Camarillo. No, the takeaway is it's Camarillo. These are our neighbors, these are family, these are friends, and this is why we need your support. So patrolling is one aspect. Every single thing, you have a place within 805 Immigrant Coalition. There's something you can do. My mother-in-law is a long-arm quilter. She created this beautiful piece. You have people that can do fundraising, even if you're on social media and you're keeping an extra eye out of like, hey, I saw this. Each one of us is connected to different people, holding those conversations, just being the eyes and ears in whatever capacity you can. Please help us. If you have any questions, especially here in Camarillo, to get involved, please reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions afterwards. So thank you so much for your time.
As we go, do you want to come up and do Q&A, you and Matthew?
Yes. Yeah, go ahead. I see someone. Oh, is there a microphone? Okay.
Okay, right on there.
Back.
Hello.
On the farm workers' housing
Yes.
off of Somas, I know you go to the road and you stop ICE and you get them to turn around because it's private property, basically. Have you gone to each apartment to try and educate them? I know that's a daunting exercise, but to have each family know their rights so that they don't open the door?
Yeah. So first and foremost, unfortunately, we cannot stop ICE. So even now we're encountering some pushback, specifically from the property manager saying this is a private property. Even patrollers can't be here. And so we're kind of on the outside, again, just monitoring, being able to have a response and whatnot, and keeping people informed about the alerts. And then to answer the other part about know your rights sort of thing, there was back in January, I believe, a resource fair hosted by Friends of Field Workers for folks to be able to know their rights. The day that there was an attempted ICE raid, we went door to door, putting flyers, red cards, whatever it is. And we're just in constant communication with the community as to what their needs are, so that they're the ones telling us what they need instead of us saying like, oh, we think this. So we always want to be in conversation with them.
I want to follow up a little bit on that and just say, yes, that Bev is right. We can't stop ICE physically. We operate within the law, and we're unarmed, we're nonviolent. But they like to operate in the shadows and in the dark, and that's why the rapid response team likes to get out there quickly, because sometimes just a presence of people filming them and documenting and showing the many times illegal acts that they're doing is enough to get them to back off and go away and try to come back some other day. It's also why we patrol at the swap meets, because if we pick up on ICE activity, we have a coordinated response that involves all of us swarming and filming and trying to stand to loudly declare that they're there. And sometimes that's enough for them to say, you know what, too much hassle, too much filming, too much documentation, we'll get out of here and do it again somewhere else.
What would be your dream for what you would like the City Council in Camarillo to do? And how could we do that?
The dream. There is, Vanessa and I have had conversations about this, and I love the way she phrased it, is what is the version of filling the pothole for immigration at City Council. I think one of it goes back to what the other cities are doing. It's being able to have the resources available, a comprehensive resource list, because what is there is very sad. There also needs to be the distribution or some funding at least to either the Neighbors Fund, a legal defense fund, supporting our supervisors, pushing them. And I think that's one of the things is they'll tell us, oh, contact your federal officials and whatnot. And that's, yes, and we are doing that. Of course we're doing that. But what we're calling on is action from them. And you know, it's like, oh, our hands are tied. No, they're not, because there are other cities acting. So if you can email them, have private conversations, if you have relationships with them, I have relationships with them. So I am advocating in whatever way I can. And it's the more people that show up, because there will be like, you know, 1 or 2 MAGA folks that'll show up and somehow they're getting the attention. But if we can just keep overwhelming them with, no, we need action from you. That's the dream, is just having the community come together and say, we need you to finally do something. It's been 2 months since the raid. So for them to establish pushing for the Neighbors Fund, for them to host these workshops. Yeah, so it's having them do the actions that are similar to what other cities are doing, because they have done none of that. So go ahead.
Sorry. So there are a multitude of things, and it's time to get creative. So that's City Council's job. But some things that other cities are doing is providing funding to support mutual aid or funding for legal support, doing trainings, training their staff, educating, putting out signage, supporting housing developments to do signage and say that they have their back, speaking with their contracted police services about how they want police services to happen. Every city is individual. Every city's needs are specific to that city. I'm going to turn to our next person who has some thoughts about how elected officials can take action. But to set it up, it is really important that elected leaders understand that this is the will of the elected people. I've been meeting with a lot of leaders lately, and they say, well, you know, I know these people are showing up and they're doing hours and hours of public comment at city council meetings, at board of supervisor meetings, but really this county is really purple at best, because a lot of people don't feel that way and they vote. And so if we can demonstrate to them, no, actually, a lot of people feel like this county went 60% for Kamala Harris, and this county was not in favor of rogue actors being a paramilitary force in our nation and grabbing people off the street based on racial profiling or other illegal, even regardless of what the Supreme Court says, methods. If we show up and demonstrate, no, we actually, as a county, do not support these tactics. We actually want these funds and trainings and support. then that can start to push our elected leaders to see that there actually is support for this. So with that in mind, I'm going to welcome Willie Lubka, who perhaps needs no introduction, but I'll just say he's the founder of, or co-founder or founder of Buen Vecino out of Thousand Oaks. They are one of the organizations that does regular citizenship fairs, and he also, through Buen Vecino, coordinates the ICE out of Ventura County Coalition. He can tell more about that. Willie's been a wonderful partner through the years, so welcome. Thanks, Willie.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you to CLU for organizing this, including my former minister, Reverend Betty. Great to see you. And somebody said that they love the city of Camarillo, and I find it a wonderful, charming. Oh, you don't hear me? Okay. Better? One of the reasons to love Camarillo is that Reverend Julie Morris is here. She is the shit. And if you don't know what that meant, you can Google it. It's good. Buen Vecino, do I have a clicker? Let me try it. It's this? Nope, that's not it. Thank you. We were founded in the end of 2016 while we were all awaiting the beginning of the first Trump regime. When we came together, it was a group of neighbors living in Simi Valley, Moore Park, and Thousand Oaks. We tried to get an organization called Cause to open up an office in our part of the county because they were doing great work that we admired. And they said, there's nothing like us up there, and it is needed, but we're not going to open an office in East County because we have a profile of where we set up shop, and your areas don't really fit the model. But you should start a new group, and we will help you. And so we've been close with Cause for the last 9 to 10 years. We partner with them all the time, as we have done many times with CLU. And so we came into existence first as just a loose-knit group of neighbors. And the word Buen Vecino means good neighbor, so we support good neighborship. In our mind, that means a lot more than just the person who lives next door to your physical home. It means being a good neighbor to everyone in the community and striving for a just, welcoming environment for all where people's human rights are respected. We believe cities should be good neighbors, and countries should be good neighbors, and churches should be good neighbors, along with us as individuals. We eventually became a incorporated nonprofit, so we now have staff, and we do a variety of things, which I'm going to run through briefly some of. We're really kind of a beehive of activity, so I can't cover it all, and I want to really focus on one thing in particular, which Vanessa mentioned, which is a coalition called ICE out of Ventura County. So we're very active in civic engagement, so that includes things like registering people to vote, holding candidate forums. This was a workshop we did to help people who are interested in running for office someday learn how to do it and hear from successful people who have done it, in particular, people from marginalized, excluded communities taking power. And we do a lot of our outreach in Spanish. And I just want to take an aside. I'm so regretful that I didn't get a chance to say this before Paulina left, but she is amazing. And Vanessa mentors people like her and has for years, and thank you for that great work. This is a workshop we held recently with a bunch of our folks, including one of our founders, Amy, who's sitting in the back. A retired Newbury Park High School teacher who's now become an anchor member of our group. More of our folks. The people are the favorite part of my job, so got to show them. We also are active advocates of affordable housing. We helped create a coalition in the Conejo Valley called the Conejo Housing Coalition. We serve on a countywide coalition with Linda and the Housing Trust and Cause and many other great organizations. And all these issues are connected, okay? They're not separate, like unrelated projects. They're all, in our minds, completely intersectional, if you will. We do lots of community education. We found that one of the best ways to do it is one-on-one in person. We table at public events a lot, and we talk to people who come up, and you can have that trusted warmth of being in person. So this is a couple of our volunteers handing out Know Your Rights cards and talking to community members about the rights we all have if we're in this country. You can see this is a little old because we were also handing out COVID kits. And we do workshops like the ones that are shown here all the time. And I mentioned this one called Humanizing Deportation. It's an incredible archive of testimonies of the personal life stories of people who have been deported from all over the United States and many from around here and from around California. And we did a workshop with them a couple years ago at Cal Lutheran, and we're just getting ready to organize another one at Cal State Channel Islands. So sometime in the next few months, this group will be back here, and it's a very powerful archive of stories and testimonies. Oh, I just want to mention about the Know Your Rights training. This is Tom Homan, who is the head of the Trump regime's mass deportation project, complaining about Know Your Rights education and claiming that migrants are getting too educated and it's making it harder for him and his folks to do their job. So for all of us on the ground, that's like, wow, we're going to double down. And the theme of what can advocates do, I wanted to just call your attention for a moment to the fact that there's often legislation at the state level, at the national level, and sometimes even at the county or local level that is immigrant friendly and that makes things better, tangibly better for our neighbors. And our voices, sending letters, making phone calls, going to meetings to express support for some of this good legislation is really important. And these are just two examples of things that are pending now. The session in Sacramento was just ending, and right now, after a long season of advocacy and lobbying and showing up, we're to the point where things are coming to the governor's desk. And he either signs them and they become law, or he vetoes them. And one thing we're supporting is SB 81, which has been supported by nurses and people in the healthcare industry, which would restrict immigration enforcement from doing something they've been doing, which is coming into hospitals and clinics to arrest people. So please express your support to the governor for SB 81. Sign it. And there's a lot of other bills that are coming. We're not going to go through a whole litany of those right now, but listen to what trusted organizations that you're a member of, if you're a member of a union or if you're a member of a faith community that supports immigrant rights. Okay, I'm getting the flashing light symbol. So several years ago, the main thing I'm going to close on is a few minutes on something called the Truth Act Forum and on the ICE out of Ventura County Coalition. In 2018, Ventura held its first event, which is a public hearing called the Truth Act Forum, where the sheriff is required by law to disclose details of his cooperation with ICE. Many counties in California don't have Truth Act forums because their sheriffs do not work with ICE at all. Our sheriff has made the decision that he should continue collaborating with ICE as much as he's legally allowed to do so. We strenuously disagree and think that even though he may have good intentions, he's causing harm. It's unjust, it's cruel, and it causes community distrust toward him and his department. It's a misuse of our tax funds. It's racist. There's a lot of reasons why we think it's totally inappropriate and harmful for the sheriff to have any connection to immigration enforcement. Just think about the difference between the sheriff's job and ICE's job. They have two different jobs. Police are supposed to protect us and keep us safe. Us meaning all of us. ICE is here to damage and harm us. That's their job. By the way, it's worth taking a moment to reflect on the humanity of what they're doing in our county. They are causing deep harm. Harm to families that is going to take generations to heal. They're harming our neighbors. The sheriff shouldn't work with them. He does. So every year at the Truth Act Forum, we mobilize community members to show up, and not just to protest, which is fine, but to educate, to enlighten, to try and explain to him, you've got it wrong. If your job is public safety, what you're doing undermines that. You should completely draw a line between your job of public safety as local police and the work that the federal government does. They really don't need your help. They really do not need to use Ventura County tax dollars to deport people. The federal government has plenty of money to support doing that without you. So the Truth Act Forum for this year is coming up on September 30th. There's 3 events I want you to know about. September 30th, it's a Tuesday. The Truth Act Forum is scheduled at 6 o'clock at the Government Center. We have flyers in the back. It's scheduled at 6 o'clock at the Ventura County Government Center. There's also accessibility through Zoom. And we're going to have a rally beforehand starting at 4:30, and we just lined up the danzantes, so don't miss the rally. It's going to be amazing. The sheriff will have to give the details on how many people in the previous year of 2024, which means in the last year of Biden, how many, next year it's going to be more. But every year, the report at the Truth Act Forum is for the previous calendar year, so he's going to give details of that. And I'm asking everyone, come and with compassion explain to the sheriff why working with ICE is the wrong policy, and he should end that. He should listen to us and end that. And he needs to hear from people from every part of the county, of every age, of every race, of every language. And we're going to have, I said there's 3 events. The Truth Act Forum is on the 30th. By the way, the ICE Out of Ventura County Coalition has 30 organizational members all across our county. And if you're a part of an organization that's in sympathy with this cause of separating police and immigration enforcement, let me know. You can join the coalition. You can come to our meetings. You can contribute to our work. So we're also going to have 2 webinars the week before the Truth Act Forum, which we're calling Teach Outs. They'll be held on Zoom, and we'll explain the law. What is the Truth Act? What exactly does the sheriff do? What does he not do? How can you help prepare your public comments? One will be in English on Monday, September 22nd at 7 o'clock, and one will be in Spanish later that week on the 25th. The speakers are absolutely superstars, so if you can possibly be there, sign up, it's free, and there's flyers in the back with a little QR code that you can use to register. Okay, I think we're doing a rapid response training on the 29th if you want to come, and we already heard a lot about the Rapid Response Network, so I won't repeat what's been said. Thank you. We like orange.
I know, yeah, we do.
Thank you. Does this work? It's on? Good. Maybe I should, oh, okay, I'll sit down. How's that?
That's excellent.
Yeah. Thank you for your time and coming to speak to us today, all the speakers. I will echo what you said. I'm a former City of Seattle government employee. I worked closely with Seattle Police. ICE was involved. It did harm the relationship citizens had trusting their Seattle police. So the separation is critical. Now, the other thought I have that may be helpful to all of us, if we're going to speak to the Camarillo City Council elected representatives, You have 3 minutes. Talking points are essential if we want to drive home a consistent message, a clear, consistent message. And we'll need to be relentless in communicating that repeatedly. So I don't know if there is like 5 key points. You know, I heard some of them, like funding, like not cooperating with ICE, holding our Ventura County Sheriff accountable to delivering public safety services for those who live here and not assisting ICE. But if there are others, it would be so important for everyone to come to the next Ventura or Camarillo City Council meeting, remind them of that, and also remind them that some of the other cities have taken action already. Is that correct?
It is, and we're urging everyone to join Bev and other local leaders in continuing the pressure at the Camarillo City Council. I just want to also respond to your comments. First of all, right on, fantastic. Please come to the Truth Act Forum if you can. Here's my business card. I'll give you a ride if you need one. Well, you can zoom in then from, they're probably going to cut us down to 90 seconds. We will create like a toolkit with talking points, and it's good to actually write it and practice it a couple times, because if you go over, they'll cut you off. Yes?
Yeah, just to add to that, I think I'm loud enough.
They're online.
Hello?
Yes.
Just to add to that, what you were about to say, you can go there and you can submit your paper to talk and then yield your time to somebody else. So even though they're cutting that person off, then you yield your time to that person and they can continue. And I've spoke many times at the city council, and the great thing about it too is they can't argue. They just have to sit there and listen to you. So I've actually pointed the finger at several city representatives, and they can't do anything but sit there and listen, and their colleagues as well.
Thank you guys so much. We're going to have, thank you, Willie. We're going to have, we've got 2 more presenters. Roll with us. I want to invite the Reverend Dr. Betty Stapleford, who definitely, I mean, has been fighting for civil rights for a couple of years. If you know her, you love her. She's in purple all the time. She's a minister, Unitarian Universalist faith, and she's going to talk to us as a co-founder of CLUE and for your work going out to Adelanto as yet another avenue of advocacy. Thank you.
I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, so I will not speak quite as quickly as some of the other people have spoken, but I hope you'll recognize my time. I'd like to let you know something that has changed my life, and that's not being overly dramatic. When I first came to Ventura County, I'm a veteran of the civil rights movement in the 60s. If you can figure that out, I hit my 41st birthday last year for the second time. But in any case, I came to Ventura County, and I'm looking around, and I live in Thousand Oaks. I mean, everybody's fat and happy there, don't we? We know that, right? So I'm looking around, what is there for me to do here? Well, it didn't take long for me to find out that there were lots of other rabble-rousers like myself who were out there, and I became a member of the CLUE board, and I've been there ever since. Because the CLUE organization, and I'm the clergy part of, we're Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice, and I always tell people the J is silent, because how would it be if you said you were from Cluj? That doesn't sound very good. In any case, when I started looking around, I said, well, what is my role? What can I do here? And I tried lots of things, and then about 15 years ago, actually someone who is related to Willie Lubka, his wife, Lisa, introduced me to Adelanto. Adelanto is a detention center. There are close to 200 of those centers around the United States. Adelanto happens to be the closest one, but it's about 2 hours drive from Thousand Oaks. But I found out that people were sent there from all over the country. And here you see the sign, the city of Adelanto. And I put this up here because you see what it says underneath that sign? Okay, unlimited possibilities. Out in the middle of the desert, there are these unlimited possibilities. Well, you can probably buy a house more cheaply out there. But what they really have out there is a huge detention center, the Adelanto Detention Center, and they can house 1,400 people in the main building, 200 or 300 in the side building that was originally for women, and now they've taken over the Mountain View facility because they were put out of business for during COVID, because they weren't doing well by their detainees. They were subjecting them to all kinds of medical difficulties, not giving them any medical treatment, and housing them in places where everybody, once one person got COVID, everybody got COVID. So they shut them down. Well, so they started bringing people into Mountain View as detainees could come in there, and they'd had no restriction. For many years, we tried to get them shut down. The chances of that happening in recent history, probably negligible. If you had a facility that housed 1,400 people, you could move them all in there. And here's the really sad part to me. These facilities, at least 60 to 70% of them are run by private corporations. They bring in millions, billions of dollars every year by all these facilities that they run. But the reason that this changed my life was that I became a visitor. First through Lisa's leadership, and then I took over her role, taking people to visit with these detainees. We had to close down our operation during COVID, but now it's back up and running again. I took a group this last Tuesday to Adelanto, and let me tell you what that goes like. Number one, you show up after having driven 2 hours out in the middle of the desert, and you go to the desk and you say, I'd like to see such and such a person. They spend a lot of time not being able to find people. That's become more serious now than it was before. I went on Tuesday, and it was even more difficult. They used to have lockers for us that we could put our things in. Now you have to leave them in your car. The lockers are still there, but you can't use them. We used to be able to get a tiny little piece of paper that they would give us and a golf pencil to write down any notes. Can't do that anymore. So basically, these people are in a facility where there are no programs at all. They have a tiny library. They have a picture of it in the front lobby where it looks like there must be plenty of other books. That's pretty much the picture of the whole library that they've got there. Individual detainees may lead Bible studies or other things, but they can't, and you can't take anything to them. You have to send it from Amazon or some other place where they have books that can come in. And so somebody said, well, can you take this and give it to? No. Telephones are very limited. They used to have Chromebooks that some of the people could have. That's very difficult. If you want to send them an email, you have to know their bed number, including whether they're upper or lower. And they change that on a regular basis. So finding out where they are so that you can visit. We went with 4 people this last week. For the first session, only one person had anyone that was on our list, and we have a pretty comprehensive list that was available. So one of our members, one of our people got to visit with one person. For the second meeting, all 4 of us got to speak to one person. And here's what the conversations go like. Hello, I'm Reverend Betty. I'm here because I care about people who are in this facility. We don't try to teach them what we think. We want to really find out about them. And here are people, and there's the mistaken idea that people only are in there for maybe a week or two. The people that I went to see before COVID, most of them had been there for at least 2 years, had not been able to get in touch with family for the most part. I was the only visitor that some of those people had ever had, and that was true of the other people in our group. So we go there to say, there's somebody out here who cares. There's somebody who wants to know about you, and then you just invite them to ask questions, or you ask them questions, and you find out who they are. Well, and there's 2 ways of doing this. I am of the opinion that I should go to see the same people every time, because then you form more lasting relationships. Some people say, well, I want to go see a lot of different people because some of those people don't get visitors. Well, you know, we have to make the choice that works for us. But the thing that has happened in my life is I've continued the relationships with those people. I'll tell you one very short story. One was about a young man who had been, in his teenage years, had been in with a bad crowd. He had participated in an armed robbery. No one was hurt, but because he was from this group that had committed an armed robbery, he then went to prison for 24 years. He was from Mexico. I don't need to tell you that people from Mexico get longer sentences than other people. But in any case, I met him, and they have three colored suits, by the way. The blue ones, and those for asylum seekers. The orange ones, and those for kind of moderately okay people, but not quite kosher. The red ones for really dangerous people. I met with all 3 of those kinds of people. They're human beings. They're people who want the same things that we want. So as soon as he got out of prison, he was picked up immediately by the sheriff, put in this facility, and he had been there for close to 3 years. That young man, and he wasn't so young anymore, although everybody is young compared to me, but in any case, he had been in that facility, had family here, but family that couldn't drive 2-3 hours out into the desert. So many of them had not seen him for all that time. And finally, and he was fortunate enough to have a lawyer, but unfortunately a lawyer who could not wipe out, once you've been in prison, the likelihood of your getting asylum, getting released from prison with bond. And by the way, just to let you know, bond for these people nowadays is somewhere between $30,000 and $50,000. So it's not something that just everybody has lying around that they said, oh, here, take this. So he eventually was deported back to Mexico. And the last call I got from him, he couldn't even speak. He just could cry. And there was really not much I could do for him. Now, not all stories end that way. Some of them end happily. Like the young man who was deported back to Kenya, lived there in danger because he was a gay man. And Kenya is not very safe for gay men or people. And he eventually, through an organization known as Rainbow Railroad, got sent to Brazil, where he is now gainfully employed and learning Portuguese at a very rapid rate. He and I had an amazing, just one quick addendum. One of the young men that I met and talked to, and by the way, I speak no Spanish. So most of the people that I talked to were people who were either English speakers, which a number of them were, or they were from Africa, where most of the people do speak English. And this young man who is now living in Rhode Island, who said, I'd like to come visit you. And I said, okay. So he flew out. We had a week together. Very different than talking through a glass at the detention center. But it's changed my life, and I'm really glad it started up again. I took the people last week, taking another group in October. Unfortunately, that trip is already filled in case you're all going to rush up and volunteer. But I will be doing that at least once or twice a month, probably as long as I can manage. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I want to bring up our final speaker. I wanted to just to reinforce, recent policy has come down that now people who have entered the United States without a visa ever are no longer eligible for bond. So everybody, just to double down on what Betty was saying, most folks who are in immigration detention do not have a criminal record at all. They are being detained simply to keep track of them, I guess, during their immigration proceedings. And that number will exponentially grow now that nobody's eligible for bond unless they entered on a visa. Meanwhile, stock prices for Geo Group and Core Civic are going up because they're publicly traded companies. With that said, I want to bring up, it's always ray of sunshine. That's what we're here for. I'm going to bring up Linda Braunschweiger, who has been working and advocating for affordable housing in this county for a couple of years also. She is tireless when it comes to all sorts of affordable housing, particularly farm worker housing, which is why we want to bring her up today. So take it away, Linda. Thank you so much.
I'm the short one, so. Whoop, how's that? That works? Nothing like being the last one when you're all going, we've heard everything. And also just found out about this on Friday night. So I don't have a lot of pretty slides. So that'll make it go faster too. I am the current vice chair and one of the founders of House Farm Workers. And that's what I'm here for today, but I am also the founder and CEO of Housing Trust Fund Ventura County and the Housing Land Trust Ventura County. So not too busy. But actually, House Farm Workers is an organization that was started in the early 2000s by a group of us who, some from the ag community, a number of us who were in finance and banking and in housing, just recognizing that this population of farm workers were never getting housing. You know, they were in very substandard housing. They were afraid to poke their head up and lose what they had. And we're like, this just isn't right. There's nobody advocating at that time for farm workers. And so we decided we were going to have this little get-together. And we thought, gosh, you know, if we have 50 people, we're going to be super excited about it. We had over 100 show up. And these were folks who were city council members. These were county government members. They were bankers. They were investors. They were housing folks. They were all the advocates. And it became a clear kind of change in thought that affordable housing, I mean, I could go for days, and of course I won't, is really important, and farm workers can qualify for affordable housing. But they don't. They weren't getting into the housing. And so it was really important, we found, that we advocate specifically for units and developments for farm workers, because housing is the linchpin to a person's longevity in life, to their safety, to their dedication to family. We all know, sitting around this room here, and I'm assuming most of us all have some form of housing, that that is where your safe space is. And farm workers just didn't have it then, and a lot of them still don't have it. So we started this group, and we have city groups in most of the cities. I've chaired the Camarillo one for 800 years, and I've tried to pass it off many, many times. So the Camarillo one is probably a little less active. So if somebody's feeling like that's a calling that you have, please talk to me. But we have very strong committees in Oxnard, Ventura. We have a so-so group in Moore Park, definitely a strong one in Santa Paula and Fillmore. And what these groups do is they advocate at City Council when there's discussion around affordable housing and make sure that the voice for farm workers and the ag community, so we maintain this beautiful ag community that we have, is heard. And so over the years, House Farm Workers has been able to really support that, and we've had lots of successes, which I guess the website isn't on there, and I don't know, housefarmworkers.org, I think. I'm sorry. But really, that is the focus of our House Farm Workers group. I wanted to share a couple of things. We are currently finishing up, last couple of years, doing a House Farm Workers study. It's something that Ventura County did 20 years ago to really determine what the need was. And we're doing it again because as a person in finance and banking, and I go to try to fund affordable housing developments, the data was so old, and we didn't really know how many farm workers were here. And so I just lost my train of thought. That we're advocating. No, what was I talking? Oh, the study. Thank you so much. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm sorry. So we're doing this study. The county is funding it, and it's getting national attention. It's also gotten a lot of statewide attention. So, but some of the statistics I thought you might find interesting is that 45% of farm worker households share a dwelling intended for a single family. So that's usually with one or more, many times 3 or 4 families or individuals sharing a home. And that home frequently is 2 to 3 bedrooms. So think about that. 45% of our farm worker household, 48% of farm worker household income, this isn't reading right. I got notes, sorry. Farm workers are spending 48% of their income on housing. And if you know the national average is supposed to be 30%, here in Ventura County, most people are paying somewhere between 35 to 40 to 50% of their income. So on average, farm workers are paying at least 48% of their income. Very important. We are definitely hearing of a decline of farm workers coming to this community or willing to work in this community because of all that's going on that we've heard from all of our advocates here. So I won't spend much time on that. But through our organization and many others that we collaborate with, we have seen the success initially of Somas Ranch. And my organization, the Trust Fund, we funded $2.5 million into that development. There's also Cypress One, which is in Oxnard, which is 153 units for farm workers. It's just being completed now, and lease-up should be, yes, yay, end of this year, maybe first quarter next year, and there'll be a second phase that's coming as well. We did $1.5 million there. College Community Court is in Ventura. It's 57 units. It's under construction, and it's an interesting model because it was a church. It was the Methodist Church that had property, and they were sort of underutilizing their property, but they wanted to maintain their church, and so they worked with an amazing developer, People's Self-Help Housing Corporation, to find a way to incorporate housing that benefited the community but maintained the church and its mission. So something else that's fascinating, I think we're seeing changes here. It was brought up, let me wrap up real quick, that 10 minutes goes fast. Somebody asked about SOMAS and what we're doing there to assist the residents. House Farm Workers does do Know Your Rights workshops, and we have done a couple of them. I know you have been involved. And just, again, making sure that the residents there know what their rights are and how to get help. Nothing more than that. But there's definitely concerns, and I can address that in other questions later on if you want to, but the identification of a significantly affordable farm worker development is putting a spotlight. And so we've got to figure out how we work around that. So I will leave that and happy to answer questions. No questions. Okay, cool.
Okay.
No worries.
So I apologize, we're running late. So we were going to do, sorry, dear. We were going to do, kind of have a panel. So we will continue to do that if you guys can stay, to the extent that our speakers can stay. I can stay. I've got nothing else to do. What else am I going to do? We're just going to keep talking about immigration and people's rights and protecting democracy until you guys want to go home. So stick around. But I wanted to, before we transition into sort of an open dialogue, which we have these chairs, but I don't know if we'll figure out if you guys want to stand or sit so people can see you. But I wanted to just thank them very much, and Paulina, for coming today and spending their Sunday afternoon with us and educating the wider community. And I hope we can welcome you guys in to this crazy family. As you see, like, the diversity of work that's being done in our community, there's a place for people to get involved, and you don't have to just sort of spiral and see that, like, oh my gosh, stuff is crazy and out of control and there's nothing we can do. There's a lot you can do. Thank you, man. I keep forgetting, I have one prop. It's this pink piece of paper, and it's on the table in the back, and it lists all the different organizations that you saw here today. And as you can also see, I hope we've been able to give you a little color that these issues do intersect. So if you have some experience in housing or banking or law enforcement or activism or cloth, what were you talking about? Quilting, textile work. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to get involved and all kinds of talents and skills. So please join the family of advocates. It's so rewarding. It's very helpful rather than just sort of sitting there and worrying day after day about how the world is turning and doom scrolling. I know. I thought you were saying also give money. Also give money. You can also donate to any or all of the above. So with that, I want to thank our speakers, but please stick around and let's have them all come up and we can just kind of take questions as a panel. So thanks. Come on up, guys. Maybe one question just to get us fired up is, what do you think would be the most useful way for, like, locally, how do we get, what do you think is the need right now locally in terms of advocacy, or what would be the most helpful to do at the local level?
I'll start because I think it was hit upon here in Camarillo. Those of you who support this work need to be speaking up at City Council, because Camarillo is an amazing example of fearfulness on their part of not being reelected. And so if they don't hear, for those of us who live in Camarillo, that this is important work and we believe in it and we support them, they will continue to be quiet.
And just to go off of that, every second, fourth Wednesday at 5 p.m. is when City Council is there, and you can email them at any point. This next City Council meeting, I can't think of the date for the life of me, the 24th. Thank you so much.
5 p.m. Where is it?
5 p.m. at Camarillo City Council, 601 Carmen. And it's right there in the corner. And again, any questions, I'm happy to answer. I'll actually I'll grab a clipboard and you can write down your information and I'll reach out. Earlier it was asked about, consolidated points. If you go to Camarillo Cares on Instagram, that's where most of the information lives. There will be consolidated points that can be brought up. So, and again, happy to email that out to folks too whenever that becomes available.
I don't want to speak to say what's the most important need to do right now, because there is so much of it and it's out there in a great quantity. However, all of you have your own particular set of interest, background, experience, and skills, and I guarantee you that you can bring that to bear on any number of needs that are out there that will make a direct impact to uplift a vulnerable community.
So you may have heard that in November there's going to be an election. I can't, because I'm a 501c3, suggest how to vote, but please vote. Please vote. And encourage family members and neighbors to register to vote and get out and vote. And then do the same in next year's election. There's going to be a primary in June and then a general election in November. And who is in office has a big impact on what's happening, so that's super important. I would also like to say that the Rapid Response Network needs more volunteers. The more we can get, the better, including operators who are in the safe space at home answering the calls, as well as people who go out and patrol. If anyone's up for that, you can get a buddy to go with you if it seems a little intimidating, and it's really important. And have empathy, people.
Yeah.
Have empathy for what's happening. People are really being hurt right now in our community very deeply, and it gets talked about a lot without the empathy. And that's really important. These are human beings, they're our neighbors. And that includes people who may have a criminal record. I don't know about you, I have a criminal record, okay? I made a mistake when I was young. I was incarcerated. I learned from it. Now I'm a father, a decent human being, and that's the normal path people are on. Let's treat everyone equally. Let's have our criminal justice system not discriminate against someone based on where they were born.
I guess from a personal point of view, or if you're hands-on people, and I am, if you can find a way to, there's so much fear out there. Young children who are worried that when they get home, their parents won't be there when they come home. Older parents who are concerned about their young children who may not have any place to go or anyone to take care of them. So if you can act, if you know some of these folks, get them the red cards, talk to them about the fact that you're concerned, deliver groceries to their house, offer them transportation to a doctor's appointment or whatever. We think that most of these interactions take place in the courtroom. For many people, it's an everyday fear and concern. And they need just a little somebody who just cares, who wants to say, I am so sorry that this terrible thing is happening to you. And I want to help to make it a little bit lighter. So that's me.
Every single thing she mentioned, by the way, has a role in the 805 DocuFund, so we can put you to work in any one of those beautiful items mentioned.
I just quickly wanted to mention that here in Camarillo, there's multiple food banks going on. I personally attend Crossroads Church, and every Thursday night we serve about 75 cars, and we're always needing volunteers because there's a ton of work to do to hand those out and keep those cars moving.
Yeah, we've got a little crew back here from Oakview, coming to support our friends in Camarillo and learn from what you all are doing. So thank you to everyone for the leadership that you're providing. Thank you to Pastor Julie for opening the church up for this conversation when our local civic governments are not doing what they're supposed to do, which is host these community conversations. I think part of my question is I hear the immediate need, and I hear that there are many of us who, if you've got extra time, show up, do charity, do justice. So immediate outreach and then advocacy to undo an unjust system. I'm partly here because I want to know how I want to know, does Ventura County have an interfaith coalition that is meeting regularly to address this issue so that we can leverage our churches all on the same page? And I'm not saying that to make it exclusive to churches. I'm just saying this is the connection and networks that I have, and we expect our churches and synagogues and places of worship to be the moral leaders in these times of crisis. So I'm wondering, where is the power being mapped and the conversation happening to leverage our churches so that we have a unified presentation? Reverend Betty.
There is no Ventura County organization, but there are in most of our cities local clergy groups that are getting together. And there's one in Thousand Oaks. I think there's one in Camarillo, right? There's a clue. Yeah. Not really. Okay. But there's one in Ventura. there are a number. So what you want to do is look local. Santa Paula has an organization. Actually, I think they have two. Actually, Thousand Oaks has two as well, but I only know about one of them because never mind. Because they probably wouldn't agree with those of us who are in the one that I belong to.
And there's Clue.
And there's Clue, yes. So I think you need to look local and find the opportunities that you can. Okay, Terry?
So, as president of the Ventura County Interfaith Community, I'm going to address the fact that in the 20 years we have been organized, part of what we do is to build understanding, to build bridges of understanding, and in doing that, we do not apologize political situations because we want to build bridges of understanding, and some of these things could tear us apart instead of building us together. Now, we can meet on individual basis and post our opinion and have conversations. I understand your point. We need to be standing with each other, and how do we support our community all the way across.
Yeah.
And I will go back now to say that I am also a registered nurse. And when we have ICE invading our hospitals, invading our clinics, going into doctors' offices that are considered public, then we are causing people to be afraid to get health care. And that is a burden on our whole community, because we may have people walking around, not only will they have distress and need assistance, but their children may, their loved ones may, and they may have an infection that truly could be passed, unlike crossing the border where they don't.
And I really appreciate the desire of Interfaith Table to set a table where a broad spectrum feels welcome. And whether you're a conservative church or a progressive church or, all the different kinds in between, synagogue, mosque, whatever. And at the same time, this is a community crisis that was politicized by the federal government. It's not a political action on our end. It was brought on us. So I would want that conversation to be opened again at the the county interfaith community to say, we didn't ask for this to be political. It was forced upon us. And out of our faith traditions, we are going to offer leadership in this area. Let's have a conversation about how to do that.
And I'm a member of the steering committee of BCIC, and they do amazing work. And I think it's always not as out front in terms of the activities, but I think that there are decisions that are made because of our relationships, because we understand each other, and even though we may come from different faith traditions, we do speak a common language in many ways. So.
Yeah, I'll just say we are in a church today, and we were at a church last week, and this is CLUE, Clergy and Laity United for Economic Justice. This is the work that CLUE does. So we are calling on people of faith, leadership, and laity to join if you are interested in working on issues concerning economic justice, which is working people's issues, housing, immigration, a living wage, etc. So yeah, thank you. Yeah.
For faith groups, we've talked about things that individuals can do, share your work with you, donate to you. And I think the donation idea is one that's been playing in my mind. We're coming into a season of holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I've had the opportunity to talk with Pastor Julie about the notion that when special times come, and oftentimes there's special services, that perhaps we can take that opportunity as collectively, as individual churches or groups of churches. Mount Cross has the wonderful opportunity to be a partnership of 3 with St. Columbus and United Methodist Church here in Camarillo. These are some groups that can use our money and desperately need our money to help others. So look forward to the take those opportunities to make those donations designated for that purpose, I think.
We couldn't have said it better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
just wanted to say a few words and thank you so much to Matthew for all he does. I've been volunteering the last few months at the Ventura College swap meet, and the funding from that swap meet goes to student scholarships for first-gen kids. And to see half the vendors there and people terrified to come is heartbreaking. So we pass out the red cards, we pass out our yellow flyers, everything's bilingual, and we show people how to text their number to 805 on DocuFund. And you can write the word alert in your text message, or alerta in Spanish, and you get alerts where ICE is in the Tri-County area. It's humbling to be there. We get thanked all the time, even by the college police. They're really happy we're there. They're supportive. The foundation is very supportive, and the vendors are very supportive, and the people visiting. And we get thanked all the time, and it's very humbling because all it is basically walking around, talking to people. It does help to speak Spanish, but it's not necessary, and handing out information and having one-on-one and building relationships.
And we wear orange. Yes, that's the, yeah. Orange or white. If you speak at city council or board of supervisors meetings, you wear orange or white as part of the movement. Did we talk about the butterflies?
No, I didn't have time for that.
Okay. Well, ask a friend. Are there other questions? Other issues? Well, thank you. I guess I want to thank you guys so much. It's really, it's been so much fun to work with people over many years, and more recently, I'm starting to see, no, all of you, I've worked with all of you for many years. We're all getting old. But we continue the work for justice, and we really are super, as you can see, there's just, once again, there's so many ways to get involved, to learn more. I encourage you to learn as much as you can, but really put your faith and your learning into action. That is what is required right now. People are taking advantage of the fact that people are not marching in the streets. They are using this as an excuse. They're saying, well, you know, I mean, 1 or 2 people come out, and I had the joy of listening to people say, well, 2 full days of testimony at the Board of Supervisors meeting. I mean, that's kind of like a small interest group. So yeah, it's very easy to write this stuff off. And these are the forces that we're battling right now, are people that will write us off. As Willie was saying, it's this lack of empathy. And I hope and I encourage you to get involved. The more you can interact with people and learn the stories and then share the stories. Each of us has been impacted, as Betty was talking about, the stories of the people that you've been able to meet and work with. There are all kinds of families, all kinds of people facing this. And so please understand that this is nuanced. We're talking about humans' lives, people who have come here in Ventura County. My favorite statistic right now is that in Ventura County, 76% of people who are here in our county undocumented have lived here 10 years or more. So the other side keeps talking about the Biden. I don't know the Biden. This is 10 years ago, it's 2015. There's no Biden. Stop with the Biden. No Biden. This is people who have been here many, many years. They're raising children. They're raising their grandchildren here. They are working here. They're fighting to have a dignified life. They're members of our family. They're members of our community. They're our neighbors. And they're our friends, and they're part of this movement. Let's all work together. It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be this way. We really have a great opportunity. It's a beautiful day in Camarillo. It usually is. It can really be a beautiful community, all of us together. So keep fighting for that vision, hold fast to that vision, and let us know how we can support you. And please support us too in the giving season. Thank you so much. And come to the Truth Act, September 30th, 6 p.m., Board of Supervisors, the Truth Act Forum. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Vanessa, Willie, Matthew, Bev, Linda, Betty, thank you. Thank you all for being here. If we could just together breathe, take a breath. We heard a lot, and I know some people started to leave, but take a breath. You know what that is? We're conspiring. We're breathing together. This is a good conspiracy. We can't say anymore after today that I don't know what to do, because we know what to do. The issue for us is going to be choosing what we do. So listen to what landed in you that matches your gifts and your abilities right now, and decide what the next step is going to be for you taking action. Okay? There are cookies and brownies and refreshments for you on the patio. Please refresh yourselves, meet one another, and be nourished for the work ahead, because it will be long and it will take all of us. Thank you.